Hey, what's good, people? Day 24, lockdown, and some really good stories happening today. And I'm not saying it because everybody's in a rush to get back to normality. I did, however, say that the world is not going to be the same world as we knew it when we come out of this. It's clear that there's going to be an abundance of changes from the ground up: schools, colleges, workplace. Everything's going to change, guys, because people are going to be aware of their social distancing. For me, social distancing is going to become the norm. And it's going to be the norm until we find an immunity or a vaccine. It's just the way how it is going to be. People are afraid, people are scared, people are concerned about their own well-being. And we have to respect that, yeah? Across the globe, we've got to respect it. I think things are going to be different. As you guys know, with my movie background, I love going to the cinema, and it's something that I think is going to change. There's going to be a lot of space in regards to things like cinemas. When we get on airplanes, I think that's going to be a lot of spacings as well. It's going to be less money. Yes, it is. I get that. But it's going to be some form of security for travelers. Otherwise, people won't get out their homes. People are used to being in their homes now, and that's going to also be the new norm. A lot of people are going to be working from home in the future. I think that's going to be a vast change to what we're doing now. And companies are going to have to change everything they do around that. And listen, if it means that your customers and your workers, your employees are secure and comfortable in that environment, then that's what you've got to do. Because otherwise people are just going to leave jobs, those who are still in them. And that's the only way that as a society we can move forward. Once everything has changed and vaccines and immunities are developed, then obviously that's going to give people the security that they need. But for right now, this world is going to be a very different one than the one we left back in February. So let's talk about some good news, guys. Some major supply chains are going to be opening: Burger King, KFC, Pret Manager. Yeah, they're going to be opening back. So let's take, for instance, Pret. Pret is opening over 100 stores, all of them near hospitals. What they will be doing is they will be offering all NHS staff workers half-price meals until the end of April. So if you guys work for the NHS, you know who you are. Get out there and enjoy lunch and enjoy the fact that it's going to be served at half price. And boy, Pret is expensive, you know. A meal from that place, seriously, if I'm talking about sandwich, if I'm talking about a croissant, and I'm talking about one of those lovely drinks, elderflower, oh, and they have a detox drink as well, don't they? Yeah, listen, I love me some Pret, ginger beer, they got all of that stuff, all organic. A meal like that will cost me £7-8. So you're talking about going to Pret now and you can get a meal for £4 quid. So listen, good on you NHS workers, about time you get spoilt. Second one is KFC. KFC were already doing quite a lot behind closed doors. They were supplying free buckets, bargain buckets, family buckets to NHS workers. Now they'll be able to continue doing that with a lot of shops open, so they're going to be back on the bounce. It's free chicken for everybody in the NHS. It seems like things are slowly starting to get a little bit more comfortable, but we can't relax on our morals, guys. This is a very, very delicate situation that we're in, and we have to take our time. There's no rush. I still think that this needs a minimum of 3 months. I've been saying that from day one. And then we take it into June and see where we are, because there's words of, remember, I think it was 3 days ago, I talked about furlough being extended for another month, just like it is in the US. And boy, believe me, the US needs it. I think the UK needs it as well, because too many people out there, too much stubbornness and people not wanting to stay home is causing this thing to get out of hand in the UK. And while there's signs of it slowing down, our rates are still astronomically high. So that's never a good thing. However, the US, the amount of infected in the US is just crazy. And that extra month furlough is going to help them. But what needs to help them is places like Nebraska and places like Dakota and South Dakota, which still has no self-distancing whatsoever. People are free to walk around in bars and wherever and parks at the cost of others. And that's a sad thing that's still happening in there. And God knows why those governors haven't pulled the trigger. It's very frustrating, guys. It really is. Outside of that, Premier League's going to be meeting on the 3rd of June. This date keeps getting thrown back. This date is thrown back worse than a bad date. Yeah, it's been thrown back so many times. But they've got a lot to talk about. They've got to talk about players' wages. And I know Arsenal have made a few statements, but we've got nothing concrete yet. We do know that the front office and the board are going to be taking a cut. Great to hear, guys. Something for me to actually smile about when it comes to my club. But outside of that, the players, nothing. We've been told some foolishness about they have to make the Champions League in order for them to not get any pay cuts. I mean, I've never heard so much rubbish before in my life. What are we on? We did talk about this in the podcast on Sunday, but I just think it's rubbish. I really do. I'm disgusted with the club that they haven't acted sooner. However, once the owners and the management team confirm their cuts, then I think that that's a good thing. And I think that that's something that will be well deserved among the fan base as well, because we need to see this board do something and do something constructive. Look, if you guys are waiting for Stan Kroenke to put some money into the club to help with the deficit, ain't gonna happen. He bought this club with the understanding and the notion that the club can run itself, which it can. And remember, we still have 260 million surplus cash sitting in the bank. So listen, this club is under no threat whatsoever. Yes, they've made a few losses. They made a 27 million loss last year, and they're going to make another loss again this year. But if they get in the Champions League, that could fix a lot of things. I just don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, hey, all to the power. My concern is that everybody's starting to lift the cover on this tent of Corona too quickly. And for me, that's a big, massive concern. And I just don't feel that we're in a position to do that. I don't think anybody's in a position to do that. I don't think Spain, Italy, I really don't. And all this comes off the back of China in Wuhan starting to say, yes, we're open for business. Everyone's heard that and thought, oh, okay, that's something that we should try. No, it isn't, yeah? Leave them to what they're doing, because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on in Wuhan. We know about all these people who have had, these factories, these empty factories that are going on, which nobody's in. We know about the issues, which I sent out yesterday. There's some really bad reports about how they're treating members of the community who are black and from Africa. And they're being overly checked and overly scrutinized. And it's been reported, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you guys can see it for yourself. It's disgraceful. And it's pure propaganda. When they've been questioned about it, they've had no answer. And I really want you guys to check that out, because this isn't being talked about enough on the publications of BBC, Sky. It's not being talked about by CNN. And those are the people that should really be covering this kind of news. It shouldn't be okay for some and not okay for others. So I'm really concerned about that. And I will continue to use the likes of Euronews, Al Jazeera, and Gravitas in order to find out what's going on in the African and the Asian communities worldwide, because I care about those communities. So for me, it's very important that we do something on that part. But overall, guys, look, I'm just grateful for life. I always have been. Those of you who know me personally know that I celebrate life every day. Yeah, I try to wake up with a smile on my face, and I try to go to bed and be thankful for the life that God has given me. And overall, I think that this is what's got us by. This is what has definitely got me and my family by, and my good friends as well. I do pray for all of you, yeah? So listen, we are blessed and we move forward, and right now we're in a time where we need each other more than ever. And I just want to say to you guys and your families and everybody who is tuned into this that, listen, lighter days are ahead of us, yeah? We've been down rough days before. Humanity's always brought itself back together. And in that respect, we're going to move on, and we're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. And that's not a Trump, we're going to be fine, we're going to be okay, everything's going to be good. That's not one of the Trumps, yeah? This is Apollo's thing. And I'm saying, stuff has been rough, but we're back together and we've got through this. And it's not going to be too long now. We're on the other side. This isn't the beginning. Yeah, we're in the middle. We're coming out of a certain type of patch now, and Next month, we're walking into May, and things there are going to be starting to look better. Numbers, I predict, are going to go everywhere. And then we're going to start to see a plateau. We're going to start to see a flattening of the curve. And outside of that, things are just going to start to look positive. And I'll see you guys on the other side of that. There's no doubt about it. We will be meeting up at the Emirates for drinks. We'll be meeting up. Big shout out to Tom Aston, who introduced me to Bird. Bird is a massive restaurant, man. Proper restaurant. I just said to my wife the other day, I talked to my friend, big shout out to Mike Titley in the US, told me about this place called the Monkey House in London. It reminds me a little bit like Shaka Zulu and Gilgamesh in Camden Town, where you can eat and it's got the live music and the dancing and the live band and all that stuff. It's got all of that in there. So I said to my wife yesterday, I showed her a picture of this monkey house. She looked at it and smiled, and she was like, you know, what are we gonna do there? And I said, babe, we're gonna go and eat. That's the first joint that we're going to when all of this stuff is lifted, just to celebrate life, yeah? Peace out, love you guys, hashtag stay at home, hashtag with me, peace.